got some employees, as a lot of people have struggled with healthcare, that we are working on chronic disease management for some of our employees, as well as lowering the premiums for the family coverage. Because in some cases, many of our employees are struggling to pay for family coverage on the city's program or our health plan. And so I wanted to ensure that some small way I could find a way to reduce those costs for some of our employees. So I'm going to breeze through this last part rather quickly, but as I talked about on the next slide, you see the expenditure amounts, and you saw that a little earlier. The next wheel on the inside should be the revenue side of that. We haven't talked much about revenue. We've got three big revenue sources: property taxes, well actually two. Property taxes and sales taxes are our big two revenue sources. Our property taxes and our sales tax are about 75% of all the revenue we receive to do everything we do in the general fund. And I like to point out, people ask, are we spending our money where it matters? It's typically public safety they mention. I'd like to remind people, I think we are. We spend 100% of every property tax dollar that we receive on public safety, and about 30% of all the sales tax dollars we receive on public safety. We do all the other things that you've come to know: parks, recreation, libraries, code enforcement. We do all that with the remaining amounts of revenue that we've got. And so it's tougher every year, but I do believe we're doing things the right way, and we've got to work to continue to improve that. So real quickly, we'll talk about enterprise funds, because I want to be transparent about the things that are recommended in the budget. Our Dallas water and utilities budget this year is proposed almost $1 billion at $950 million. The bulk of that, a large amount, is capital. But we are recommending to keep that service functioning and keep making those capital improvements. We're recommending a 1.6% retail revenue rate increase for your typical residential customer. And that would be about $1.03 a month for your average user. Sanitation services, their budget is a little over $100 million. And again, we are recommending an increase in your solid waste related fees of 3.5%. And so that's on average about 86 cents a month. And those are primarily driven by labor cost increases, technology that we're investing in, as well as some of our infrastructure needing our trucks and our replacement plans there. And then finally, from an enterprise fund perspective, storm drainage management is responsible for flood control and floodplain and surface water quality activities. We are recommending a fee increase on average about 63 cents per month, going from $6.46 to $7.09. And the transition there, I just want to share with you, is that we typically wait for stormwater. We historically have funded capital programs, erosion and drainage related control through our bond program. It's typically the smallest amount. So we're doing that now, I think, to the tune of the bond program of about $42 to $45 million. I'm recommending that we begin to transition our fee for stormwater to really one that will support capital improvements on an annual basis, and to build up that amount that we collect annually with fees, so that we can begin to bond and use revenue bonds specifically for stormwater, as well as couple that with what I'm hoping to increase the compliance we have on the new buildings that go up, and the property owners who are developing those properties. They're responsible for not damaging or further damaging the water flow and drainage on other people's property. Begin to hold them more accountable that they retain their own water on their own property and deal with their own stormwater runoff. So we're going to beef up those things at the same time that we're trying to deal with some of those decade-old erosion and flooding problems that you see from standing water throughout your community. So that's the hope there, and I think that's the direction I'm recommending council. And so that is all I've got. We've got a timeline here, and we are in the throes of the budget approval and amendment process with the City Council. A couple of dates that I want to just highlight for you. August 23rd is our first budget public hearing that we'll be holding down at City Hall. We've got on September 6th, the City Council will be adopting the tax rate that they're proposing at their first reading, and then they'll adopt the budget on the first reading on what they would recommend to move forward with. on September 6th as well. And then on September 13th will be the second tax rate budget public hearing that you'll be invited to. And then on September 20th, the adoption, hopefully, and the second reading of the budget, as well as the adoption of the tax rate, will be done on September 20th, and the budget will be implemented beginning October 1st. And so that is all that I have. And again, you can go and actually on the next slide, if you have access to a tablet or your phone or computer, you can see the budget in its entirety at www.dallascityhall.com. There's probably about 35 pages at the beginning of the budget that really give a full-blown explanation of all the things that we're doing in the budget, and then there's a lot more detail in the back, but we improved and enhanced the budget document with an executive summary that I believe you will find interesting and will tell you everything you want to know about the budget. So at this point, and so that we can get on at some point with the community conversation, I want to turn it over to Eric Thompson, our EBS director, to walk you through the bond program. Thank you.
Good evening. I want to brief this very quickly. Just give you a very high-level overview of what's in the bond program that you'll see proposed at the ballot November 7th. Because I want to save as much time as possible to get to your feedback. That's really why we're all here this evening. Next slide. So, very quickly, bond programs are really long-term debt that the city issues based on voter your votes. November 7th this year. It's for long-term improvements, buildings, streets, things like that. You can't use those funds for operations or things like paying electric bills or adding more code offices. They have to be for capital items. Next. So over at least the last 18 months, we've had a process to get to this point. I see some familiar faces. I've seen you over these last 18 months at a number of different town hall meetings or meetings down in City Hall to talk about these various projects and the needs that the city has. So recently, August 9th, City Council approved this final lineup. So these are the 10 propositions that you'll see to vote this fall. And you'll have the opportunity to vote each one of those, yea or nay. And then we'll move forward implementing the projects to approve. The total program is $1.05 billion, and that's for the entire city. Next slide kind of highlights some of the projects that are in District 4. Overall, it's about $65 million of what we call local district projects for District 4 in this overall program. I won't read all of these, but a number of streets, we've got some traffic signals, projects, park and recreation, trail projects. And then there are also some funds for projects that are kind of at mayor's or Mayor Pro Tem's discretion in the areas of economic development and some other areas. Southern Gateway Tech Park, part of that seed funding is there. Seed district discretionary allocations. Stone Range as well, and then Council Director Project. So, as I already mentioned, Council's already called the election for these 10 propositions at that $1.05 billion price tag. November 7th. So you have your opportunity to weigh in for all the early voting proceeding this evening. There's a ton of information at dallasbond.com online. Several hundred projects that make up that $1.05 billion program. So I invite you to spend as much time there as you might like. And questions, feel free to give us a call. I can't always understand. Keep that out. I'll turn it back to Carol.
All right, and this all right, at this particular point, we need to hear from you. If you, through this process, and And let's first start talking about budget and government. Raise your hand, and Lydia, Norma, and staff, when you hear something, that's in reference to something that you need to answer, then step on up and let's move it as quickly as we can, but let's be here to serve the citizens and do what we need to do to take addresses, concerns, and then let's do the proper follow-up. Anybody want to go first? Anybody want to go it out? Ms. Brown.
I have two questions on
Okay.
the budget. We talked about the care programs for seniors. Will that be a federal fund or a city fund?
Kim, here's the problem.
I'm sorry, can you repeat that question? Yes,
The
ma'am.
care program for seniors,
Yes, ma'am.
will that be with federal funds or city funds?
So there is $1,055,000 that is general fund for seniors. The other portion of that, 6.9 or 9 million is federal dollars. And so part will be, as I said, I want to try to allocate the first $500,000 of the bigger pot to go to seniors if they're eligible, and then the other part from the general fund, which is solely delegated only to seniors.
And I just like to make one point that usually under that program, it's such a long time before the person makes the application and work is actually started. So hopefully, when we have this program, we can see that process of working fast.
Yes, duly noted.
And then I have one other question. What are the neighborhood plus areas?
I believe there are 11 of those, if not 14, and there's in several council districts that have eligible census tracts. We can get you that. I don't know each one of them. They're already designated, and I do believe there's one. Should have been one district, but I'm not quite sure how that worked out. But is there anybody here who might be able to answer that question? All right, we can get you that information if you give us the contact information.
There was mention about economic development and diverse housing projects. Can you describe what that looks like?
Yes, I can. So the term diverse housing should be, in my mind, fixed income housing, being able to handle all ranges from, I would say 20 to 30% of the median income and 40% of the median income. I believe we rely on the housing authority to do much of that, but from 50 up to 80 and over 80% of the median income. And I know that sounds great, but probably people, a family of four, potentially making $30,000 to $35,000 a year, all the way up to 50 to 60 is the housing that we get involved in typically, and/or we require developers, if we're investing and they're doing market rate things, to be able to handle and provide housing for that 60 to 80% range at I think 10% and 20% level for the housing we participate in tax increment financing zones and other projects. And so what we're doing, again, back to what I believe we probably haven't done as judiciously as we should, is we're doing that market value analysis to really dictate where the city should be investing our dollars. Right now, quite honestly, anybody that comes to us and say, hey, I got a good deal, I got a good project I want you to help me with, we typically gravitate and just go and figure out how we can help them. I'm of the opinion that in some of those cases we need to say, you know what, we support your project, but we won't be investing any city dollars because as we look at it, you can do it on your own and you really don't need a government subsidy. You haven't proven to us that you need the money. And so we need to be able to understand that better, and I think the team that I'm working to continue to build will be able to do that a lot better and sit across the table and go at a level of professionalism to be able to have those conversations and push back when we should be investing. So the program that we're trying to create and a housing policy and an economic development strategy that we're creating will be able to embolden, I think, the city council to be able to tell people, no, we won't be investing in your project because, again, we believe we need to be working right over here, and here are the things we should be doing, and here are the incentives we should be offering to get what we believe the community has said that they want in their community. So that's what we mean, and I mean by a diverse economic development and housing strategy, which we don't have either right now, so we'll be working to create one, and I'm hopeful our outreach will be able to make sure that when we talk about what we want to do in District 4, from a housing perspective and economic development perspective, it will be a lot less about what we think is good for you, but having conversations when you share with us what is best for you, and we figure out how to do it.
I know that you said that there is $375,000 allocated to a single program. Yes.
Yes.
What is, how do you go about doing that? Am I eligible for that?
You just bought a point.
I'm still running. When I retired, I lost my dental insurance. So now, if I was know about getting dental help from the city.
So you have to be a senior,
I'm a senior.
and then you just need to have a phone number, and you need to be able to call and get connected with our program. So that's another issue as well. We offer a lot of programs that I think many people don't even know we offer, unless you know somebody in some cases, or somebody just has the courtesy to tell you about a service you don't know we have it. And so we'll get you some information on that program and share it with Mayor Pro Tem here and his team, so that when you call his district, you'll be able to get access. And we're working on our proposal to have a document that will kind of lay out in detail all the things that people can take advantage of in this community that we do. And so we're working on a community engagement strategy that will be better at telling people what's available. So you are eligible. And I think we need to just make sure you get in the queue, because when we run out of money, we run out of money. So
I want to be, I ask a question, I want to know what.
and so I've been encouraging council members, not just with that program, but the housing program I talked about. I've worked with council members before to make sure that they've got the applications and everything, that they can have people working with their seniors in an organized fashion, so that they can drop all of their applications off on October 1st, and then be the first in the line. And so I'm hoping that we can do that here successfully as well. So if you've got information or want more information, leave your number with the councilman's assistant, and we'll find a way to contact you and ask you about what it is you're interested in understanding better about the services we provide.
I'll make a list. I'm looking for it in part chart. Social media. In this chart, we have over half of the budget is police and fire. Okay, but I was in this particular community here, we have a drug problem. And I didn't see anything that was addressing that of the city. You know, other than increasing the fire, the police department, and coming and locking them up.
Let me just say this. And this area is one of mine and the city's target area, because it is so much drug activity. And I'm talking about from Leadbetter all the way to Overton and a little beyond. That's the first thing. We do have problems here. This is a hot area. We have asked the police, and our major is in the back here. This is a target area. I hate to kind of talk about it too much publicly, other than if you know an address of a drug house, if you know, I got you.
We're talking about locking people up.
Yeah.
I'm asking about.
Yeah, he didn't understand it. Thank you. Yeah, that's what he's talking about. Yeah.
The first thing we got.
Yeah, that's what he's talking about.
Just kind of break that.
I like him.
We don't have to be, we have some sources in the program. But the first thing we got to do to get rid of all these drugs and these people that's here, we got to first clean it up.
No, sir. If you close one down, another one will open up.
Well,
We're talking about
when you close,
that's got the drug addiction.
I understand. And I am for mental health in heaven. I am personally for mental health, and helping folks that are addicted to drugs. But now, I am further for locking up the joker that sold the drugs. I have to first get drugs off the street while we try to help those that have been addicted. We're not going to just solve the problem because we're creating another problem with these little children that's been addicted to those jokers out here, sorry people, not wanting to go to work. Everybody in here, 9 times out of 10 got a job. Okay? We go to work every day. Now, if you want to put a glass of acid down in front of a drug dealer and give him the option of drinking that acid, the drug dealer is not going to drink the acid. So why, if he won't drink the acid and kill himself, do we want to allow them to sell this bad K2 that you're hearing people talk about this weekend to our community? Now let me further say this. We have 284 churches in my district, in District 4 alone. Now, we got to call upon these churches as well. Because if we got 284 churches, and we got all this drug out here, they got to come on and help us, and not just on Sunday when the plate is going across. Now, we got to call it like it is. The first thing we got to do, we got to stop these folks at Gold Star and these other places from selling these single cigarettes and this drug paraphernalia and all of that in our community. And so we have a twofold situation. We got to help those that are addicted. But we first got to start stopping the flow of it through our neighborhood. You got to give us the address to the police so that we can know where to go and bust it. And then when they get busted, because some of us, I hate to say it, but I don't hate to say it. Some of us know that our own little children and nephews are selling drugs. And y'all don't want to tell it on them. You're going to Ray Ray and Baby. And at the end of the day, that's why that car wash, that Chuck's car wash was there. That's why those folks are behind Family Dollar up here at the corner. That's why they're over at the car wash at the Texaco. That's why they're down here at this Ragney shopping center at Deer Path that George Reeves on. Okay? Only because they're able to get away with it. Now, I just hate to talk straight, but we have our work to do. Now, one thing I'll say this, and I'm going to let us get back, and I see you, brother. We'll get you. I will say this one thing. Compare this community with Highland Park. Now, I challenge us, any one of us, right now to get up and go over close to Highland Park, park your car, and walk through Highland Park. And tell me how far you're going to get. You ain't going to get nowhere. Right? Because they're going to tell it, they're going to call the police, they're going to report you. So when you know it's a crack house, a drug house, a wrong activity, y'all pick the phone. Do not get involved yourself. Please dial 311 on most issues. If it is an emergency, dial 911. I'll say to Mr. Broadnax. Mr. Broadnax, what we've had a problem with, and to major, what folks have had problem with some, is that when they give the report to the police, sometime it has happened that the police will tell them where the call came from. Don't wait to call. This is what you do. This is what you do. Call my office. All right? Call in the daytime. 214-670-0781. And let me give the address without your name. And then 214-670-0781. Now, do not involve yourself. Call 911. Call 911. But you got to start making the call if we're going to clean up our community. If somebody dumped trash out, it could be your next door neighbor. My next door neighbor had weeds growing all over my fence from his yard. And I had to pay $450 to cut the weeds that wasn't even belonging to me. Okay? Now, that should not happen to you. And I want to say to you seniors, I've talked to Mr. Broadnax. about us trying to deal with our alleys and sidewalks. I know we got bad sidewalks. I know we gotta have some alley cleanup. But alley cleanup is your responsibility now, however. For a senior lady, like this lady right here, 91 years old, if her alley is overgrown, then what I am attempting to try to convince Mr. Broadnax them to do is we will first send somebody and help her. Now, who should be able to is a family. Now, but everybody don't have the family. Right. So the church is another out. And that's why we need all these church preachers off in here that's in our neighborhood. At the end of the day, we're going to cut that alley somehow. But we don't cut it over and over again. We're going to make the way through these alleys over here. Mr. Broadnax saw an alley. He didn't even realize it was an alley because the weeds was this high. It's more prevalent over in this neighborhood than any other neighborhood that I represent. But we do need to cut the alley. But it is your responsibility to keep your half of the alley clean and this half of the alley clean. Okay? Now, you keep tell it on your neighbor and make sure that your alley is clean. I'm sorry I go off like this, but I have to kind of deliver some certain things that we need to know because we're down here working hard to transform this community. And we're jumping on Sweet Georgia Brown. That's the ragged parking lot Walter got up there in the whole wide world. Okay? And Walter can afford to clean up that parking lot. Now, so there are things that we know that are happening that we are taking care of, but we can't do it, Bobby. We can't do it, Linda Wynn. We can't do it, Ms. Brown. We can't do it without you all's help. I'm sorry. All right, let's listen up, because I get preaching again. I'm trying not to.
I know that homeless was another piece of the pie, and what is the alternative? I mean, send them back where they came from. You don't know where they came from. Over the house, you don't know what the house. What can we do?
Let me say this. We are seriously working.
I just want to get the microphone from him.
I just had a couple of things. On the homeless thing, the people y'all see hanging around up here,
Yes, ma'am.
we have boarding homes.
That's right.
Whoever is overseeing these clients at these boarding homes needs some way to hold them accountable. If the Dallas police pick them up, then we need to send a bill to whoever's there to take care of these people that are up here begging. Most of them at boarding homes. I taught at South Cliff. I seen 4 of my students. They live here. They not homeless. They just up there begging. Amen. So the second thing, Mr. Caraway, can we get TWC to come up here? Like they go down to Homes over here to that library. Maybe we get TWC up here because we were gonna try to take some of them to TWC. They didn't want to go. So maybe we can have them to come down here to TWC and apply for some of these jobs. Okay. Get online and do what they need to do or whatever within walking distance. Okay. Okay. Mr. Brown had a.
Mr. Brown.
Hey, what you saying? You've been saying this all day. Dwaine, you all are the brains to all of this, right? The people that you all talking about, that I grew up with, I've been over there for 3 years. I grew up in this place, very, very cheap. But what I'm saying is this. Like he said earlier, these people want to work, but they sick. Okay? And you the brain, but you on this side of the fence, right? They on this side of the fence. Half of these people won't come in this gym tonight because you got police all around here. But that's the divide, right? So if you all working on something, but let us build our own community back. That's gonna give us some work. Don't bring nobody in our neighborhood to build our neighborhood back up. Let us build it up. Put these people to work. We gotta teach them. Yes. We gotta teach them. Yes. And not more than
TWC.
and I'm gonna be short, I promise you, I'm gonna be short, I promise you. Let me say this, you're right, okay? Now, you are absolutely right, but let's just talk quickly about Habitat for Humanity. And then, why is it on any Saturday in this community, in this very community, you see all these folks driving over here, and they get out with all their cars parked way down the street. They come with hammers and nails and everything else, building on the house and doing all the time, doing it in our community. They're doing what we ought to be doing. Wait, I'm just saying. Now, what I would pledge to do, if we get together and we say this is what we want to do, then let me figure out how to get the hammers, the nails, and the lumber. And understand what I'm saying? We must build our own. We don't have to have these people coming over, but they come over. And I had some folks in Joplin. I'm telling you real quick. Neiman Marcus and the CEO of Neiman Marcus, they came out one Saturday in Joplin. Joppy. They came over in Joppy. Hold on. They came to Joppy on a Saturday morning to help us clean up Joppy. It was 150 people from volunteering from Neiman Marcus. Oh, we won. Now they start going around and they got the hammer, nails, brooms, and rakes and everything else. You know what happened to them? People said, "Get the hell out of my yard." Now, come on, man. These people are volunteering to come to do something that we're not doing. So I'm just challenging and I'm supporting you what you're saying. Let's get together. And you put the group that wants to clean up and do all those things. It's only going to save us money. Little boys ought to be able to be cutting lawns and high weeds and all that and making some dollars. But we got to make sure that we are on top of that type of action. You know, and because they want a job, tell them to come on and get together. You put together a meeting, I'll come to a meeting where everybody wants a job. And I had some youngsters to come to get a job and put them to work over by Oliver Homes off of Kellogg. And you know what they did on the second day? You know what they told me? They didn't show up. You know why? They said it was too hot. Okay? So in order to get the job done, they're going to have commitment to work. Anybody for folks with felons or records and things of that nature, I will help anybody for a second chance. But I'm not going to waste my time for the third, fourth, and fifth. Okay? I have a guy that's working right now at the city of Dallas. They don't know nothing about it. He's been working there for 16 years. He's on 99-year parole today. But guess what? He gets up and goes to work at 5:30 every morning. He hasn't missed a day. And he takes care of his job and his two little girls because he's a father without, he's a single father. Okay? I applaud that kind of stuff. But they got to have the commitment and the willingness to go to work. If I'm going to find a job, then go take care of business. I will not close my door on anybody looking for a job. I will fight like heck to get people jobs and to make them help them hold on to the job. But they got to be committed to doing the work. You got to be willing to work. Last thing, TC, I'm going to do. The Hispanics right here on 8th Street in Mercedes and at 7-Eleven, they're out there every morning at 6 o'clock in the morning. They will jump on the back of any truck. They don't know if we're going to take them to the INS or nowhere else. They're ready to go to work. And they go and they work through the lunch break. And now, where they used to, we used to do $6 an hour. We pulled up. They went up to $15 an hour. So anyway, now listen, I appreciate you all. You're going to close us out. Pat. No, but I get the brother the red shirt. I want to make sure it gets you.
Elder Chance, Christ Memorial Missionary Baptist Church.
Hey, how you doing?
All right, and I got to take issue with the church not responsible for everything because charity starts at home and spreads abroad.
That's right. Charity starts at home.
But however, this made my third year back over. I grew up and I watched your show.
Right.
And when I came over here, I retired out of San Antonio. I came back and I called the city. And my church is right there on over.
Okay.
And one, I had a plan to address one of the drug problems. That is, one of the things in our community, the alleys are not paid. I called the city. They said we were due for a bond drive and they were supposed to be paid and back and forth. And I said, well, I tell you what, never focus something about it. I said, if I put together a PPP, that is a public-private venture, and we clean up our alley, because I told them the only people that's coming up and down our alley is drinking. And I said, if we put together a PPP, and we do this, and I had a coordinator, I said, you, the city, give me your specifications for the alley, and we do it. We all pay us back what's complete if we run that bond. 3 years, I'm still waiting. But that's just some of the things that, again, the houses of worship, we are doing over there, right? Right now, we're fighting one of the things is right across our street. They just put a halfway house on a level 2 sex offender. Right there. So one of the things that we're also doing at my church, can't speak for the other, is that we're looking for those houses and structures that we can buy and we can renovate. I said, you're right, there is some things that we can do ourselves, and there is some, but what are you all willing to do to meet us halfway? And because one of the things I always say is, no, we don't have to always run to the devil with our hands out. And one of the things that we're doing is we're doing just that. But, however, if we're doing that, what are you all willing to do to meet us halfway? Because even with some of the programs that y'all have, it's geared toward developers. Not in, because I own houses, including myself. Some of the same things that I'm doing, I even have a project that I'm running down in Belize right now. I would love to bring it here, but then again, what are you willing to do? I hear a lot of talk. Like I said, I'm going on 3 years. I still have not heard back. So